In this video, we're going to show you two of Pride's zero-turn technology scooters, so stay tuned. So zero-turn technology basically means you have two motors in the rear of these scooters which are going to allow you to turn the front wheels almost completely sideways. So what that's going to do is that's going to get you a four-wheel scooter that's going to turn in the turning radius of a three-wheel scooter. So what happens is when you turn the front wheels, it hits a sensor, and then what it's going to do is it's going to make your motors in the back, there's two motors, and they're going to turn independently, and they're also going to turn opposite directions. So when you go to turn, as they're turning opposite directions, that's going to keep you in this really tight turning radius. So this is only to Pride. Pride's the only one that has this zero-turn technology, but it's fantastic for people that do want the stability. But they do need to take it in a few smaller spaces. So they do have two different versions. They have the ZT8, which might at one point used to just be called the zero turn, and then when they came out with the larger version called the zero turn 10, they had to rebrand this one and they called it the zero turn 8. So if you see any of the really old ones just called a zero turn, that would be the small scooter, but now it's called a ZT8 and a ZT10. And now we're going to kind of go over the differences between these two scooters. So first, right off the bat, is going to be weight capacity. It's not much, but the zero turn 10, the bigger scooter, is going to be a 400-pound weight capacity, while the ZT8 is going to be a 375-pound weight capacity. A couple other differences too is going to be the battery size, which is also going to then determine into the amount of range you're going to get on the unit as well. So on the ZT8, it comes with these 18 to 22 amp batteries. That's the only size batteries that you can put on this unit. The zero turn 10, you could put 40 amp batteries in here. If you really wanted to upgrade and you had like an interstate provider around you, you could actually put 50 amp batteries in here, but from the manufacturer, they ship with 40 amp batteries. Now, also the distance on these units is going to be based on the user's weight, the terrain that they're going on, and how they're driving the scooter. So imagine in a vehicle when you're driving your car, if you're in stop and go traffic, you're not going to get the same range as you would going 55 miles an hour on the interstate. So now on the zero turn 10, you can get up to 24-mile range. Now, I wouldn't probably go 24 miles. I typically like to scale that down and let's say 18, 19 miles, because that's probably going to be a true indicator. That 24 miles is going to be more or less somebody at probably 200 pounds that's not going full speed, that's not stopping and going constantly. So that's going to be at a slower speed on your eco. And like I said, not this constant stop and go. Just imagine in your car, you're going to take more gas when you come to a stop and you initially start out. On the ZT8, it's going to have the smaller batteries. You're going to get a little over 13 miles on a range. So once again, I would say a fair range on a scooter of this size is probably going to be in that 10 to 12 mile an hour, 12 mile range. Not mile per hour, but mile range. So the ZT8 is going to be a lot smaller of a unit. So if you're looking for a smaller unit that's going to turn in the most smallest of spaces, this is only going to need 37 inches for a turning radius. The ZT10, obviously quite a bit bigger of a unit. You're going to need about 43 inches of turning radius. So nothing crazy, extreme difference, but hey, that 5-6 turning radius could make a difference for some individuals. Now we're going to talk about tire size. The tire size on the ZT8 up front are 7-inch tires, and that's generous. They're a skinny tire. That's maybe, let's look at the actual overall width of this tire. You're looking at just a hair under 2 inches in width on the tire by 7 inches tall. If I put my tape measure on it, it is really true 7 inches tall. On the ZT10, you're going to have about a 3-inch wide tire by about a 9-inch front tire. So when you're going through certain terrains, if you do remember that the width of your tire sometimes helps with traction more than the height of the tire. So you are an inch wider, so the ZT10 would go in certain terrain outside better than what the ZT8 would do. Now on the rear of these units, you have a 9-inch rear tire on the back of the ZT8, and it's about 2.5 inches wide. And then on the ZT10, you have a 10 3/4 inch tire, and it's about 3 1/4 inches wide. So bigger tires on the ZT10 than on the ZT8. Basically, the ZT10 is going to be the bigger brother of the ZT8. Now, the ZT8 does have two motors in the back, like I mentioned, and they are going to peak out at about 300 watts each. So they're about 300 watts each, so about 600 watts of max power on the ZT8, which is going to then translate into about 5.9 miles per hour top end speed. Once again, based on the terrain, the incline, and the user weight. On the ZT10, you're going to have 2 motors in the back that are 500 watts each. So it's going to translate to about 1,000 watts max power, which is going to get you somewhere between 7.3 to 7.5 miles per hour. Once again, based on the user's weight and the terrain that they're driving this on. Now, both of these units do break down if you want to put them in your vehicle, but do know that the ZT10 is going to be a little bit heavy. So when you break it down, the heaviest piece is probably going to be the front section on both of these units. On the ZT8, which we have other videos that show you how they break apart, it's about 48 pounds, the front section. Now on the ZT10, like I said, much bigger components. You're about 75 pounds on the front section. So they are going to be heavier, that's 75 pounds. If that's still too heavy, we do have other lifts called like a go lift or a scissor type lift that lift up to 100 pounds that you can also ask us about. So once you break it apart, you can lift them up and slide them into the back of your vehicle. There are color options on these. Now the ZT10 is a one-piece color, so you can't just interchange the shrouds, but they do come in a few different colors. So they do have red, white, and blue, and then for local stores, they also sell black. On the ZT8, I know they have silver, black, red, blue, I think orange, white. There's a handful more colors on the ZT8 because it's the actual shroud inserts that are going to come out of the unit that you can change the color on this unit a lot more easy. Now, one thing I did notice is on these units, the front baskets are a different size. Now, they do come with built-in rear docking devices on both units, so you can get the rear baskets as well. But people like to ask us, can you put a bigger basket on either one? And typically the answer is no, but I will give you the measurements of what they are. So on the ZT10, you're about 11 inches wide by about 8 inches deep. And on the ZT8, you're about 9 inches wide by about 7 inches deep. So it's quite a bit bigger basket on the ZT10 than on the ZT8. Both units come with headlights on the unit. Now the ZT10 has turn signals. It also has a built-in cup holder up here in the front, which we'll show you on an overlay. And it's got a built-in USB charging port over here on the front. And on the ZT8 over here, you do have a USB built-in charging port over here, and then you also have your headlight up here up front. An advantage of the ZT10 over the ZT8 too is going to be comfort. Bigger unit, it's going to have probably bigger shocks, but you're also going to have a nicer seat. So on the ZT10, you are able to change the seats out. You can get 18, you can get 20s, you can even get a high back seat on these as well. On the ZT8, it is a standard seat. There is no upgrading of this seat. There is no upgrading of the batteries, but it is about $800-900 cheaper than what the ZT10 will come in at. So if you're looking for speed, you're looking for distance, the ZT10 is going to be a better option. If you're a little bit looking more on a budget, if you're looking for something what's going to be in the smallest turning radius, your ZT8 might be the option for you. So go ahead and follow us outside. We're going to go ahead and drive both of these. And do remember, I'm 6 foot tall, 220 pounds, so you can kind of get a reference of how I'm sitting on these units. This is the zero turn by Pride Mobility. This is the 400-pound capacity. You'll see the turning radius here, and you can actually see the tires turning independently. One's going forwards, one's going backwards. You do have 2 motors in the back. They max out at 500 watts each. Now you can see from this video, I'm 6 foot tall, 220 pounds. This is kind of how I sit on this unit. Now you can put your feet up here. It's a pretty firm plastic mold frame, not frame, but the shroud kit. A couple other nice great features is the cup holder that's built in, the adjustable tiller that's right here. Now you can put rear accessories up here such as cell phone holder or rear view mirrors, and you got your rear docking device back here in the back of the unit. But really what makes this unit great is the 7 miles an hour, the over 20-mile range, the weight capacity. It does kind of break apart if needed. It's not the easiest thing to break apart, but it is going to have plenty of power with those 2 500-watt motors in the rear. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to drive it over here in the grass real quick just to kind of show you that it doesn't have any hesitation. So with dual 500-watt motors in the back, I mean, plenty of power. Now this is not an off-road all-terrain scooter that you're going to want to go taking it in sandy type areas, but hey, if you have this and you're, let's say you're in an RV park and you want to go in some gravel, some compact dirt, you want to take it out to baseball fields, this is not going to have any issue at all. So this is the Zero Turn 10. Does come in 3 different colors online, or the black if you're local. If you have any questions, give us a call. This is the Zero Turn 8 by Pride Mobility. It's a much smaller unit than the Zero Turn 10, but you can see the turning radius. Look how the wheels turn pretty much all the way sideways. I mean, for a four-wheel scooter, you're not gonna find something with a tighter turning radius than what this unit has in this size of a scooter. It's gonna have two motors in the back, 300 watts each, so 600 total max wattage that you're gonna have on this particular unit. Once again, smaller size, smaller stature, smaller batteries. You're not going to get quite as far of a range, but if you're looking for something that's compact, that's going to be stable, and then still have some speed over 5 miles an hour, this would be the unit. Now, do you remember on the ZT8, you can also put on the rear view mirrors, you can put your cell phone holders up here, you do have the docking device in the back for all your other accessories. And I'm going to show you now with the 600 max watts of power, you're still going to be plenty fine going in terrain like this. Now, just like anything, 7 miles an hour on the bigger brother, that's going to have a lot more power. The ZT10 does handle that a lot better, but the ZT8 will still be able to navigate plenty of terrain. So if you have any questions, give us a call. We'd be glad to tell you the differences between these two units.
Hi, I'm Mark.
And my name is Alex. We're co-owners of Marc's Mobility.
I started this company in 1995.
We sell many products, not just what you see in this video. If you have any questions or concerns, please call us at the number below at 800-677-6293. Thank you, and have a wonderful day.